Next, we're going to talk about simple interest, which builds directly off the percent sentences we just reviewed. So we're going to redo number 33. It's a nice important problem, but I think we'll change the initial amount. So instead of $100, let's do a more interesting thing. How about 350? So a $350 loan lasts 6 months. It has a 12% annual interest rate. And I'm going to put the word simple in this problem because anything that you'll see on the homework or tests will actually tell you when it's simple interest. How much interest is owed? So first we have what would happen if it was a 1-year loan. The way simple interest works, you take what's the 12% of 350 and you would have to pay that at the end of the year. Sort of like buying a bond that matures in 1 year or a bank certificate of deposit that matures in 1 year. So we're asking what is 12% of 350? As we just studied, the what we can change to y is becomes equals 12%. We're going to make 0.12, have our riplop going left out of percent. Of becomes multiply, and numbers stay numbers. And whatever that is, $42. This loan only lasts 6 months. So we're going to take that $42 and multiply it by, I'm going to rate it as 6 over 12 to show that there's 6 months that we have over 12 months that the 42 was talking about. The 42 was a whole year goes by. If you wanted to write this as 1/2 or 0.5 or divided by 2, that could all make sense in your head. So then we'll get half of that, 21. So we did 2 bits of multiplying. 1 bit of multiplying is we needed the percent of the loan amount. And then we multiplied that answer again by how many years happen. If it was exactly 1 year, we wouldn't do anything. It would just be times 1. Since it was a half of a year, we did it by a fraction. If the problem instead said 7 years, then we would put a 7 here, and we'd get 42 times 7 is something bigger. So those 2 steps, multiply these 2 things and then multiply by how many years, happens again and again when you do this kind of problem. So we just write it as a formula. So doing exactly what we just did before, if you don't mind me boring you too much, All this formula is saying that we'll take the 350, multiply it by the 0.12, multiply it by the 6/12, and we would get the $21. When you're using the formula, there's a couple ways to mess up. You have to remember to use the rip block, change percent to decimal. And you have to remember to take the time frame and express it as years, whether that's a whole number or a fraction. Hopefully you can understand why, having seen the long way on the previous slide. Okay,